On a cold January morning in 2023, a routine dog walk along a quiet riverside path in rural England turned into one of the most talked about missing person cases in recent memory. What began as a seemingly ordinary day quickly unraveled into a mystery that captured national attention, fueled not only by the unknown, but by a storm of speculation that spread far beyond the scene itself. Nicola Bulley was a 45-year-old mother of two, living in the village of St. Michael's on Wyre, a quiet and close-knit community in Lancashire. She worked as a mortgage advisor, balancing her professional life with raising her two young daughters. By all accounts, Nicola lived a stable and routine life. Each morning followed a familiar pattern, getting her children ready for school, then taking the family dog, Willow, for a walk along the River Wyre. On the morning of January 27, Nicola followed that same routine. After dropping her children off at school, she headed toward the riverside path she had walked countless times before. At around 9 a.m., Nicola joined a work conference call using her phone. She continued walking as she listened in, her dog off the lead, as was typical for the area. But within less than an hour, something was wrong. At approximately 9:20 a.m., another dog walker noticed Willow alone near a bench by the river. The dog appeared dry and uninjured, but unusually unsettled. Nearby, Nicola's phone was discovered, still connected to the work call, placed on the bench. There was no sign of Nicola herself. The scene was quiet. No obvious disturbance. No witnesses to anything unusual. When Nicola failed to return home, concern quickly escalated. Her partner, Paul Ansell, raised the alarm, and police were called in. What followed was a massive search operation centered around the River Wyre. From the beginning, investigators from Lancashire Police focused on the river as the most likely location. Their initial working hypothesis was that Nicola had accidentally fallen into the water, perhaps while trying to retrieve her dog or slipping on the riverbank. Specialist dive teams, underwater search units, drones, and helicopters were deployed. The river was scanned extensively. But as hours turned into days, there was no sign of Nicola. The lack of evidence began to raise questions. There were no signs of a struggle. No footprints indicating she had left the path. No witnesses who had seen her enter the water. And crucially, Willow had been found dry, something that seemed inconsistent with a sudden accident involving the river. As the search continued into its second week, public attention intensified. Media coverage expanded, and social media platforms became flooded with theories. Armchair detectives began analyzing every detail, maps of the area, timelines, interviews, even body language of those involved. Speculation ranged from accidental drowning to abduction, to more elaborate and unfounded theories. The case, once a local concern, had become a national obsession. Police maintained their stance, there was no evidence of third-party involvement. But the public wasn't convinced. As pressure mounted, scrutiny shifted not only toward the investigation, but toward Nicola's personal life. In a controversial move, police disclosed sensitive details about her struggles with alcohol and menopause-related health issues. They stated these factors could have contributed to vulnerability on the day she disappeared. The decision sparked widespread criticism. Many argued it was unnecessary, invasive, and distracted from the core investigation. Instead of clarifying the case, it deepened the divide between official findings and public perception. Meanwhile, the search of the river continued. Weeks passed with no breakthrough. Private investigators and independent search teams became involved, some claiming to find gaps in the police's approach. One specialist group even conducted their own sonar search of the river, reporting no findings, further fueling doubt about the theory that Nicola was in the water. The mystery only deepened. Then, on February 19th, more than 3 weeks after Nicola disappeared, a member of the public made a discovery. A body had been found in the River Wyre, less than a mile from where Nicola was last seen. The area had been searched before. Shortly after, authorities confirmed the identity. It was Nicola Bulley. A post-mortem examination concluded that the cause of death was drowning. There were no signs of injury or third-party involvement. The official conclusion aligned with the police's original hypothesis, an accidental fall into the river. Yet, for many, the conclusion did not bring closure. Questions lingered. How had she entered the water without being seen? Why was there no immediate trace during earlier searches? And how did her phone remain untouched on the bench, still connected to a call? In June 2023, an inquest formally ruled her death as accidental. The findings reinforced that Nicola had fallen into the river and drowned, with no evidence of foul play. But beyond the official outcome, the case left a lasting impact. It exposed the powerful, and sometimes harmful, role of social media in modern investigations. It highlighted how quickly speculation can spread, often outpacing verified facts. And it raised difficult questions about privacy, media ethics, and the treatment of victims and their families under intense public scrutiny. What began as a quiet morning walk became a case that blurred the line between investigation and public narrative. In the end, the story of Nicola Bulley is not just about her disappearance. It is about how a moment can spiral into something far larger, where uncertainty invites interpretation, and where truth struggles to keep pace with attention. And even when answers are given, they are not always accepted.